Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Watson Report here exclusively for prisonplanet.tv members at prisonplanet.tv. Now in today's report we're going to be discussing the real agenda behind cybersecurity, political oppression and the death of free speech. Now, as you know, if you've been tuning into the Alex Jones show over the past several weeks and months, we've been covering this cybersecurity agenda, and in particular Joe Lieberman's internet kill switch bill, which we will go on to discuss in a moment. But to start off with, for you to get an idea of the true scale of the attack on the internet and the move globally towards a Chinese-style censored, regulated internet, I just want you to type in the keywords internet censorship into a Google News search, and you'll immediately understand just how deep this goes. From Vietnam to Turkey to Belarus to Australia to Pakistan to Egypt. All over the world, governments are imposing internet censorship, and they're using the Chinese model as the system to aspire to. Now, why should this concern Americans? What governments halfway across the globe are doing to regulate the internet. Well, Senator Joe Lieberman, the so-called independent, who always, on every single issue, votes with big government, votes with the elite. He's not an independent at all. He's the ultimate globalist insider. Now, Lieberman has made it clear that the United States should aspire to copy, ape, and mimic the Chinese model for internet regulation and censorship. Now, this new package of legislation that Lieberman's introduced, that's already been approved by the Senate Homeland Security Committee and is now destined for a full Senate vote over the coming weeks, the Protecting Cyberspace as a National Asset Act. Now, when this came out in the media, when it was divulged exactly what this bill contained, Lieberman quickly went on to CNN, and in response to certainly the article that we wrote, that I put out, that got linked on the Drudge Report and went absolutely viral, about Obama having a figurative kill switch to shut down certain parts of the internet, which he has in this bill. Sydney Morning Herald reported, and you can go to the bill and read it for yourself. It gives Obama the power to shut down the internet for at least 4 months. At least 4 months, after which he has to get approval from Congress. But for 4 months, President Obama can shut down the internet with no oversight whatsoever, in the name of cyber security. So as soon as this became known and it went viral on the internet, Lieberman was trotted out on CNN, and he tried to debunk the claims that this gave Obama, and in fact any president that follows Obama, a figurative kill switch for the internet. Now, as I just said, it does give Obama a figurative kill switch for the internet for at least 4 months. But the main thing to come out of this Lieberman appearance on CNN, and you've seen the video, we've posted it on the website before, it's all over YouTube, is the fact that he explicitly said China, the Chinese Communist government, has the power to regulate the internet, so we should have it too. And by we, he means the corporate elite, the offshore bankers, the New World Order that run America. So Lieberman was open and honest in saying that the United States federal government should have the same powers as the communist Chinese government to regulate the internet. And in doing so, Lieberman completely revealed the cybersecurity agenda for what it was. Nothing to do with security, everything to do with political oppression. He's openly saying they want to mimic the Chinese model. So what is the Chinese model? Well, let's take a look. Again, Chinese model of internet censorship has nothing to do with security and everything to do with silencing dissent against the state. This is about political oppression and censorship of free speech. Now, the Chinese censorship system of the internet in China is operated, it's run via a centralized government blacklist of websites. Every time you try to visit a website in China, you're first sent to a government server which checks the website against a list of blackballed, blacklisted websites that are censored. Now, I've been to China on 2 separate occasions. Centre of Shanghai, you know, modern city, one of the most thriving, economically sound, burgeoning cities in the world, Shanghai. You go on the internet in Shanghai and it's like you're in, you know, 1997 on a 56k dial-up connection. Because every website you attempt to visit first has to be routed through a government server. Now, when you've got millions of people trying to do this all at the same time, obviously it's going to cause lags, it's going to cause delays, and that's exactly what happens. The Chinese internet is terrible. It's slow because it's stifled by the blacklist. So not only are we, under this new model being proposed by Lieberman, going to have websites which the government deems unsuitable completely blocked, even if you're trying to visit, you know, yahoo.com or amazon.co.uk, because everything has to be routed through a centralized government server, and you know how competent the government is in running technological systems. This thing's going to crash. It's going to be slow. You know, we're going to reverse internet speed progress 10 or 15 years with this system. So it's not just about censorship. It's about quality of service, and that will decline completely if this Chinese system is introduced. And you can test it for yourself. If you go on holiday to Shanghai or Beijing, try and use the internet. It's terrible. It barely even works half the time. So this is what Lieberman wants in America. He aspires to the Chinese system. He said it on CNN. Now, we've got the centralized blacklist of websites, right? So you can't visit politically sensitive websites. Any website, any forum, any bulletin board that's critical of the state in any way is censored. And this has got nothing to do with security. At politically sensitive times, the Chinese government censors and shuts down whole parts of the internet. And they last did it just around a year ago in July 2009 during the anti-government riots in Xinjiang. Now this is of course the Han Chinese fighting with the Muslim Chinese in that area, and widespread anti-government protests. So what did the Chinese government do? They shut off all the websites that the Muslim Chinese were using to politically organise. And in fact, they shut off internet access across the whole region, and this is a massive region. They cut off internet access for a whole year